Looking back, a year since we started this partnership, I think when we started out, we were both very off to a bumpy start. We weren't sure where we were going. But one thing we knew about where we wanted to go is we wanted to implement some change. And so basically what you have is two ordinary people trying to do some crazy ideas, and we just want to share with you how far we've gone thus far. So briefly, myself, I'm the principal, and I've been in education for the past 26 years. I've been at Lotus High School for 17 years, and I've only been the principal for the past 2.5 years. But I believe that leading change in the school forms part of my quest towards striving towards making our school the best school in the Western Cape. Many people don't believe me when I say this. They say I'm gerook. I'll tell you about that later on. But despite being classified as an underperforming school, I believe, it is my belief, that we will become the best school in the Western Cape. This partnership has trained, and the training that was provided and is currently being provided by Symphonia has unquestionably supported me in implementing this progressive change that we're looking forward to.
Okay, and then me, I was invited to join Partners for Possibility by a colleague of mine at Old Mutual Wealth. And from the outset, I was always really daunted at the idea, but eventually went to one of her celebrations and was inspired by what partners and principals were doing at that celebration and decided to just go ahead and do it. I started this year with Benjamin working for a large corporate, Old Mutual Wealth, and subsequent to that, I've decided to take a complete left turn in my career, and mostly because I want to be able to spend more time working with Benjamin and making our extraordinary vision real for Lotus High. I don't feel like I can live in South Africa anymore, given the situation we're currently living in, and dedicate more of my time and my skills and whatever it is I've got to offer to building and educating people in this country, because I mean it's a fortuitous day that we have the celebration where we've got student protests in town. So I feel like there's a crisis, and more of us, we just need to get more involved. And so I've decided to join a small company, and it just so turns out that it's an IT company, with the idea that I have more time to spend at Lotus High and build an organization that can support our initiatives there more effectively. So that's where we are.
Okay, and so an extraordinary journey. Before I get to the next picture, I must share with Robin hasn't seen this next two pictures that I'm going to share with you, but I think it's important to share the following two pictures with you, because it puts things into perspective in terms of where we are at. And I'm not trying to present to you a sorry story. This is just the reality that we live in. Now, you all know that for most of our matriculants today, they sat for their first paper, English paper 1, and this morning at 8:45, I saw in the exam venue, I saw an empty seat. And I thought, where is this child? Tried to phone, there was no response. And I thought, no. Sure. Now this very child, let me just tell you a quick history about this child. This child was in matric last year, fell pregnant, dropped out during the month of May, and promised to come back. Had a very bumpy ride, and this morning, not being there, I thought to myself, this can't be true. I then got into my car, and there I'm busy speaking to her. This is at 9:15 this morning. And her words to me was, I can't do it, sir. I said, what do you mean you can't do it? She says, nobody's supporting me. I said, but I'm here. Sure. That's the story. To cut the long story short, at 9:30 she walked into the exam room, and we're still on a journey. Yes. Just to give you a context, just to give you an idea as to where she comes from. And these are the very children that come into our schools and we forget where they come from. And so that is the context that we work in. And I believe within this context, we can still make our school the best school. And so an extraordinary journey is what we want for our school. As I said, we want to nurture our students. We want to positively engage in our staff members. We want to position ourselves in the center of our community, and we want to be recognized as the best school. And these are just some of the activities that we have engaged in during the past 12 months. That is our, which one is the oops, I pressed the wrong one now. Okay. The picture in the middle is our awards ceremony, which was held in the beginning of the year. And the other are just some of the activities, and I'm not going to talk to that for the sake of time. But we've decided at the start of this journey, we had no idea where we're going to. We had no idea what we're going to do, but what we did know is we want to create some bold dreams for ourselves. And we basically focused on three areas three areas that we would like to dwell in. And the first one is we came up with this idea. In fact, before we joined the partnership, I had this idea for a long time that we've got this expansive grounds in our schools and we need to do something with the space that was that is there. And speaking to a number of people, we came up with this idea that a BMX track, of which you don't have many in Cape Town, is something that can bring value to the community, but also draw the community together. And so this is the kind of area that we're looking at, wanting to develop, and that's the kind of work that's been done already. And so it's work in progress. And later on, I'll talk to you about our partner that's working on, who was introduced by Paul, and that's Dustin, who's in the house this evening. And he's also been very instrumental in helping us along this journey, and so it's work in progress. The next thing that we want to be focusing on is how do we motivate the very people that teach our children, and that's the staff. And the other thing that Robin has actually taken away from me, and she's working directly with some of the teachers, we set up a staff room committee, and it's that kind of space within the staff room that we want to change. And as you can see, there's some broken couches and stuff, and so that is also another project that's being worked on. And thank you for that, Robin, for eliminating me out of that, because you have this notion with your teachers, the principal wants to be part of everything, and then they don't want to get involved. And so we've also empowered the other people to voluntarily come on board and work with Robin. So we've had a couple of hiccups there, but anyway, it's work in progress. And then also we also want to develop our sports fields, because we believe that many of our kids come to school and school ends at 3 o'clock, whatever the case may be, and there's nothing else for them to do. And this is where the societal evils grab hold of them, and they become pregnant, and they become drug addicts. And so we believe that through sport and other activities is where we need to also focus our attention after we've had them in our classrooms. And so one of the things that we're looking at is we want to develop a rugby field at our school. That's also work in progress, and Dustin also knows about that. But we also engage with a school called Cedar House, which is down in Kenilworth. And we also have our kids very involved in the gardening program. Those of you who were at our first meeting, I think it was, would remember what you went away with when Mr. Isaacs left you with those gifts. But we also found that the support supplied by the 3 different workshops that we attended has also helped us tremendously in our own personal growth and development, how we work together as a partnership. And so the thinking and listening we found extremely useful, as well as the consulting and contracting, and the building and engaging communities. So we have a couple of people that we've been working with. Over here we have a Dr. Khali, who focuses on helping us with our curriculum needs, and we've had a very, very clear understanding in our partnership that it is very good that Partners for Possibility comes along and board and helps us with a lot of things, but there are certain things which educationists know how to deal best with. And so we've had, but Robin has had privy to what's happening on that side of things. There's our site visit that we had with Dustin from H2O, and he's also very involved in what we're going to be busy doing there at our school, and so that's also work in progress. And then also Satit, which is also another support partner that we have with our schools, and they're very involved in supporting us with our environmental projects at our school. And so all of these And we found that the journey along the past 12 months with different meetings and the COP sessions were very, very useful. And there's just some pictures to share with you as to the journey that we've traveled thus far. And so, as the journey continues, we just reflect back and we say, it's been a year since we started. By February, we were totally confused. We had no idea what was going to happen. It felt as if this whole partnership is going to fall apart, but I think thanks to Nikki and the meeting that we had there, really just put us back on track. And so we were then able to put things into place. And so by now, we have a very good working relationship, and we know how we're going to be doing things. We accommodate each other's busyness, and most importantly, we've established a good respect amongst ourselves till where we are. Thank you very much.